Saturday night, nobody's home, nothing's on TV, and I want to go out and have some fun. So I grab my car keys, hop into the car, and put the keys into the ignition. Just for fun, I stopped by my local gas station so I could pick up my good friends Jose, Johnny, Jack, and Morgan, who happens to be the captain of an esteemed boat, so we can all go out and have a night out on the town. Sounds like a nice and fun evening, right? What if I were to tell you that the full names of my friends happen to be Jose Cuervo, Johnny Walker, Jack Daniels, and Captain Morgan? What if I were to tell you that an increasing number of teenagers are stepping into their vehicles to embark on similar or even more dangerous journeys? Not so nice and fun anymore now, is it? The number of teenagers who are deciding to mix drugs and alcohol with driving is increasing at an exponential rate. And as a nation, we have to figure out what we have to do to kick these so-called friends out of our lives. This evening, I feel we must check our rearview mirror so we can identify exactly who these friends are and how they've risen to such a powerful force in our society. Secondly, we must strap on our seatbelts so we can protect ourselves from the effects of drugs and alcohol while driving. And lastly, we must kick these influences out of our lives so we can drive forward to a brighter and safer tomorrow. When I first stated the names of my friends, Johnny, Jack, Jose, and Morgan, some of you may have thought that they were just my regular childhood friends. But most of you probably had an idea that I was talking about alcoholic beverages. It's truly disheartening to know that the mere names of alcoholic beverages have become so commonplace, so popularized, and so mainstream. According to the Executive Office of America's response to drugs and alcohol, no community is left untouched. Drug-using adults from every social strata are clogging up court dockets, crowding emergency rooms, and abusing their innocent children. Drug use and narcotics trafficking threaten the American way of life. All Americans should be allowed to enjoy the fruits of their labor in a land free of crime and drugs. But achieving such a community seems more like a naive hope for utopia with each day that passes. The primary reason that drugs and alcohol have risen to such a powerful level in our society is because of their hierarchy in the media. You really can't go to the movies or even turn on your television without seeing some beer or liquor commercial, or without seeing some teen flick about chugfests and marijuana, or even without seeing the latest news report about our children's favorite role models shooting up or snorting crack. Drugs and alcohol have achieved a sense of normality in our society, and thus it's even more difficult to properly kick them out of our lives. However, don't get me wrong, TV shows and movies aren't really making anything that we don't want to see. As a nation, we're perfectly fine with these images, and since we buy the tickets and choose the channels, it's obvious that we want to see more. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have bought into the mystique. We are high on being high. Now that we've checked the rearview mirror, we must now strap on our seatbelts to protect ourselves from the effects of drugs and alcohol while driving. According to Alcohol Alert, an online alcohol awareness site, 16,885 alcohol-related accidents occurred in the year 2005 alone. That's 39% of all vehicular accidents in the nation. According to another study by Professor David J. Hansen, PhD, there is roughly a 385 times greater chance you will be involved in an accident if you have an illegal amount of alcohol in your system. And if you're male, that shoots up to 707 times. Many people believe that they are level-headed or cool enough to drive while under the influence of alcohol or drugs, without knowing the actual effects that are taking toll on their mind and their body. We've all heard the claim, I drive better drunk than most people drive sober. But that's just foolish. The alcohol and drugs such as ecstasy, marijuana, cocaine, speed, and acid can cause an increase in your heart rate, your body temperature, your blood pressure, and your breathing rate. They can also cause anxiety, nausea, dehydration, paranoia, blurred or distorted vision, confusion, loss of coordination, convulsions, hallucinations, aggressive behavior, psychosis, dizziness, fainting, and eventual death. Anyone who believes that they can drive while any number of those symptoms are beating and battering their mind and body to a senseless pulp, they are badly mistaken. You better buckle up the seatbelt, buddy, because you're in for a lethal reality check. Lastly, what can we do to find the drive, to finally put an end to all this drugs and driving insanity, so that we can drive forward to a brighter tomorrow? In order to put a successful stop to this nonsense, every American must stand up and become part of the solution. America's future depends on how the nation chooses to respond to this rising problem. Our government works daily to combat drug traffickers, to punish the activities of drug addicts, and to stop drugs that are en route to America. But here at home, every single day, we can do just as much. We need to teach our children that drugs are bad, and sometimes you need to do more than just say no. All teenagers should pay attention to the news and the statistics and the painful memories of all those who have been affected by drug-related deaths, so they can become better role models. So that being sober can be considered being cool, or at least common sense, as it should be. People need to stop believing that everybody else is going to take care of their problems. We need to roll up our sleeves and make a difference in somebody's life. Many people believe that the help that they can offer is small or insignificant, but even if you can only influence the life of a single child, that's how you start making a difference. If everybody in the nation stopped what they were doing and talked to somebody about drugs and alcohol while driving, not because I want you to, not because the government wants you to, but because we genuinely care for each other, the effect would be astounding. Today, we checked the rearview mirror to identify exactly what threat we face with drugs and alcohol. We then strapped on our seatbelts to protect ourselves from their effects. And lastly, we put the key into the ignition so we could drive off to a better tomorrow. If we could all just pull together and face this problem as a nation, we will be able to move down the road of life with no bumps, no curves, and no unfortunate and completely avoidable accidents. Thank you. That's it.